I'm coming at you with a Nettie Talks video because I haven't done another one of those. So this is gonna be a story time slash real life for my young girls. Let's get into it. So right now Chicago is snowing. I don't know what's going on in Chicago, but this is a story time that I wanted to do for my younger girls. I noticed on TikTok I have a young teenage following. So I was like, when I was 15, 16, I would love for someone to tell me this as well. I was very hard-headed growing up. So this story is about this guy that I met when I was 15. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so this guy was 21, I think, or 21 going on 22. He was older than me. I was 15. I was in high school, and I used to go to my grandma's condo building. So downstairs in her building, she has a security guard person. I mean, not a security guard, but like someone who watches the front desk. So he used to work there. He used to work at the front desk. And one day I was coming from school, and my grandma wasn't home, so I didn't have the key. So I just told him, like, okay, I'm waiting for her to get home. So he was like, okay, you can wait inside. So they have like a little like the lobby, you know, sitting area. So I went and sat there for a while, and like, you know, just like laughing, talking on the phone with my friends, just sitting there, cool. And then I don't know how I started like chatting with him, but like I just started talking to him, like, yeah, you know, my grandma lives here, da. Told him like what floor we live on, everything. I don't know. And then like it's hard because I don't remember who flirted with who, but I know that I didn't deny it. And so like I lied and told him I was 16, but still he knew I was under 18. So either way, even though I lied and was like, I'm 16, because I wanted to seem like I was cool. And as you know, I've always been like a plus size girl. So, you know, have the boobs, the hips, the butt. So it's like, I've always had like a mature body, especially in high school. So I'm pretty sure he just was looking at my body like, whatever. So I got his number. He got my number. My grandma finally came, you know, I went upstairs, and so like we just started texting back and forth. So this story might be a little long, but it's okay. So we started texting back and forth or whatever, and I mean, you know what you do in high school, like, you know, like the texting wasn't always appropriate. It was basically like him trying to come at me. And then another thing is, I had just stopped messing with my boyfriend that I was with at the time. I'm not gonna say his name, but we had broke up, whatever. So, you know, like when I was a teenager, like when I broke up with someone, I always like was looking for the next person to get into it with. Like I didn't stop, like I didn't give my time because I wasn't mature. You know, I'm a little kid, like not a kid, but like I'm a teenager. I'm not looking like, oh, let me give myself a break like you do now as an adult. You give yourself a break. But when I was at that time, I was like, who's the next person I'm talking to on the phone all night? That's just what me and my friends did. Like, you just text another person, like, oh, you ain't talking to this one? Text another one. But the reason why I'm sharing this story is because, like I said, I was 15. He very well was mature and old enough to know that he didn't need to mess with no teenager. So yeah, that's why I'm sharing this, because in the midst of everything going on with these young girls coming out with, we know celebrity who, I'm not gonna say his name, but I want to tell both sides of the story because for one, I was being fast and I knew what I was doing. And for two, so it's like partially my fault, but it's also his fault as well because he knew the game. He knew how to manipulate things, you know what I'm saying? But okay, back to the story. So we're texting back and forth and everything. And then it was like we were supposed to meet up. So my mom and them don't even know half of these stories. I was sneaky. Like, I literally did this on my own, which is not safe. Like, when I look back on it, I'm like, thank God that I was covered, that he was watching over me, because I was traveling across Chicago with some man that I don't know. Like, I know he worked at my grandma's building, but like, I didn't really know him. He was older than me. So he like hit me up, like, we were talking back and forth, and somehow, I don't know if I told my mom or my grandma, but she ended up like confronting him. Like, she went downstairs and was like, stop talking to my granddaughter, she's only 15. So he found out I lied to him. She's only 15, you shouldn't be talking to her. She just like went off with him like an adult should, you know, because I'm a teenager, like I said. So so yeah, so that happened. He hit me up. I'm at, you know, I was like irritated. It was like around Christmas time. I was irritated. Like, I was so mad. My mom was like, why are you talking to him? I didn't know that he was 20 something, da da da. Like, you know, like, I had like a little attitude, like, oh, like, y'all suck. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you know, in my head, I'm just like, why? Like, what's the big deal? You know, like, okay, he older, so what? Like, I'm just looking like, he cute. Like, you know, I'm into it. So, again, looking back on this story, I'm like, you were dumb. You were dumb. But anyways, so he hit me up like, yeah, so, you know, your grandma went off on me. She don't want me talking to you, da da da. Like, we gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, okay, I guess. Like, you know, I'm like, guess can't talk to you. But he's like, no, like, we could keep it on the low. So I'm like, oh, on the low? Okay. So I'm like, okay, so we gonna be talking on the low, you know, bragging to my friends. I'm talking to a 20-year-old, whatever. I'm in high school, talking to a 20-year-old. Me over here thinking it's so cool, whatever. So, so then we keeping it on the low. So then I end up meeting him. Dang, did I meet him after school? I cannot. I'm sorry, y'all. I know the story, but I don't know the story, if that makes sense. So I'm talking to him. We meet up. I think I met up with him after school. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because he, like, met me. We met up with each other, got on the train to go to his house. We got on the train, got on the bus to go to his house. So, obviously, you could see why he was messing with, a teenager. Because, for one, he didn't have a car. He was on the bus, just like me. So, I get to his house, and we ended up doing whatever, you know. Yeah, we end up having sex with each other. And yeah, after that, I think so when I was on my way to his house, I went to his house multiple times, but one of the times when I went to his house, there was this lady that rode up on a bike, and she was like, hey, how you doing? And he was like extra close to her, like talking to her, like, oh, how you been? Like, just talking to him. And I'm just like standing there like, nobody sees me here. So he did stupid stuff like that. And like, I just could tell like he had many different girls that he was messing with, but I didn't really care because I was just like, well, I'm not that serious on you anyways. Like, we just cool. And he made it known, like, don't question him. He knows, like, basically, like, he a man. He do what he wants to do. Don't question him. There was even a time where I was at his family house. I was at his house, and his family and his, like, brothers and sisters and stuff was there. And it was just weird because, like, he would, like, when we would go into his room, he would, like, turn the music up. But it's, like, everybody knows what you're doing. I don't know, it's weird. So he would turn the music up, and it was just awkward afterwards, because then he would be like, oh, let's go chill in the living room, and I'd be like, okay. So I went in the living room a few times, but other than that, I stopped going to his house, and I would just like meet up. I would just meet up with him like at my grandma's house, and we would like chill. We would meet up downstairs, and like we just did not stop talking to each other. This went on for a little bit. This went on until I turned, did I turn 16? I can't remember. Like I was doing some fast stuff, but at the end of the day, he had came back. Oh, that's what happened. He ended up moving, and he still tried to keep in touch with me, like text me and stuff. So one time I was at my cousin's house, and he ended up hitting me up like, hey, I'm in town. Like, this is the thing, like, I never knew much of anything about him. Like, I know he was moving. I don't know if he had a girl. I don't know if I think he had a kid. Like, he kept it so minimal to what I knew about him, but like he knew mostly everything about me. And the sad part is, his cousin, who still works at my grandma's building to this day, kind of knows everything. And it's not embarrassing to me, but it's kind of like, why did I do that? Like, I feel like I just lowered my, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't really love myself. And because I didn't really love myself, I allowed a man to just get what he wants from me and just like manipulate the situation. Even though I knew what I was doing, like even though my mom and my grandma told me to stop messing with him, like leave him alone, he's too old for you. I didn't understand it at that time. Now that I'm older and I look back and I'm like, I really should listen to my dang, why my hand in the way? I really should listen to my family, like real talk, like when they was telling me to leave him alone, because there was times where I skipped school for this man and went to his house. Like I made up excuses, like, you know, like I would be like, oh, I'm sick, and then like sneak off to his house. Like, it's crazy. Like I have other stories like that too, but it's just that I wanted to share, because when you're 15, 16, you have no business messing with somebody who's in their 20s, 30s, because for one, you're still maturing yourself. Your mindset is way different from theirs. Like if I was to talk to a teenager today, like a 19-year-old or something, even though it would be legal technically, I would have a one-up on them, because for one, I'm more mature than them, and I know how to manipulate, how to play things, how to play on your emotions. And that's one thing about him that he was doing to me, because when he went away, I felt like, oh dang, like he gone, he didn't really talk to me like that, like and then like he had this thing where he was like, oh, I'm gonna be your teacher, I'm gonna teach you some things, like it's like he knew what he was doing. Like he was trying to teach me some things, he was showing me things. Like obviously I'm a teenager, I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I had lost my virginity already, but I didn't really know what sex was all about. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really know yet. So I don't know, it kind of sowed different things into me, like different seeds into me, as a young girl, to be very sexual, to be very, you know, like loose. Like it wasn't a problem messing with older men, it wasn't a problem having sex, like, you know, it really just sowed different things into me. Like, and I'm not saying like I'm innocent, because for one, like I wanted it, like I knew what I wanted. But at the end of the day, like if you have somebody who's older than you as a young girl, you don't need that, because your mindset is still maturing, you're still growing up, you're still learning your body, you're still learning certain things. You don't want to be in a relationship with an older person who has a one-up on you, who manipulating you, who's trying to tell you what you should be doing, who you should be, you know, like like that's not cool. Like that's why I want to tell young girls, like, be careful with these older guys. Like it's okay to like somebody in your school, it's okay to like somebody in your class, it's okay to like somebody, you know, when it comes to who's the same age as you, you know, have friends, have crushes. That's okay. But protect your body. Don't just give it away to anybody who doesn't deserve it. This guy, I was sleeping with him, and he didn't deserve it. He wasn't, he wasn't going to marry me. He didn't give me anything in return. Like, there was nothing in exchange. So it was just a loss. Not a loss now, because I'm older, I'm more mature, but it wasn't worth it. And I look back on these stories with the celebrity and how he was messing with these young girls, and how they say that technically the girls knew what they're doing. Yeah, the girls know what they're doing, but at the end of the day, you still have a one up when it comes to the mentality, because we don't really know what's going on. We just think, oh, it's cool to talk to an older person, da 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 da. But then, like, you lose your innocence, as a teenager. And you want to enjoy your teenage years. You don't want to grow up too fast, because a lot of things I could have avoided, a lot of heartbreak I could have avoided if I would have just been a kid. If I would have just been a teenager and enjoyed it, and not tried to grow up so fast and have sex so fast and enjoy this so fast. Like, sometimes we just gotta slow down and be like, okay, this is cool. I'm growing. Now that I'm 30, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm growing, I'm loving me, I'm maturing. I'm not trying to rush. I could be very impatient sometimes, but I'm really trying to slow stuff down. And that's my message to you guys, is to just slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. Like, you're gonna have a husband when you grow up. It's okay. Like, when you get married, you're gonna have sex. Like, yeah, you're gonna enjoy all of that. Like, you don't have to get it right now. Like, you don't have to have it at this moment. Like, it's coming. Like, just be an expectation for it when it does come. You don't need it right now. So yeah, guys, that's my story time, where my little situationship when I was a teenager. More stories to come. Thanks. Like, share, subscribe.